Good morning students, hope all of you are doing well. Today I am going to start the fourth part of the chapter 4 energy. So in this chapter already I have discussed what is work done, what is energy, what is the types of energy, what is the forms of energy, and how to solve the numerical problem which is based on potential energy and kinetic energy. Okay, so student, I will discuss about what is the transformation of energy and what is the law of conservation of energy, and by using an example how can you today we will see that how that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, it only transforms from one form to another form. So those I will explain you through example today. So let's see the first things is the transformation of energy. So see here student, so already we have learned that energy is the what is the energy. So energy is the ability to do work, and we can see energy or we can find energy in different form in our nature. So the forms of energy are chemical energy, electrical energy, light energy, heat energy, sound energy, magnetic energy, nuclear energy. So those are the various forms of energy. So all these form of energy can neither be is either be classified as stored energy or potential energy, and or energy in action or kinetic energy. So classification of different forms of energy in these two groups are given below. So the forms of stored energy, or you can say it is a potential energy, because that it is actually the potential energy because it is that energy is stored in it, so that's why it is a potential energy. And forms of energy in action, so this means it is a kinetic energy. So chemical energy, because the energy it is a potential energy because that energy stored in the bonds of atoms or molecules or in a matter. And the magnetic energy is also a potential energy because the energy stored in a magnet. Nuclear energy also is a potential energy because the energy stored in the nucleus of an atom. But otherwise, when you see the light energy, heat energy, sound energy, and electrical energy, so all these are types of forms of energy which are is categorized under the forms of energy in action, or you can see it is a kinetic energy. So all these forms of energy can be converted from one form to another form, but energy cannot be created nor be destroyed. This is the law of conservation of energy. So according to this law, the sum total of energies of all kinds in an isolated system always remains constant. So let us understand this with the help of some example. So the energy conservation for a simple pendulum. So here we can see that how the energy conserved in a simple pendulum. So you already learned what is the motion of a simple pendulum. The motion of a simple pendulum is oscillatory, and as well it is a periodic motion. Okay, why it is a oscillatory? Because you see that motion of the pendulum, it is actually moved from to and from, in side to side it oscillates, so that's why it is a oscillatory motion. And it is also a periodic motion because it after a equal interval of time it will covers equal distance, so that's why it is a periodic motion. Okay, so now you will see how that energy is conserved in a simple pendulum. So here you see that when this is a metal box, and a simple pendulum consists of a small metal box suspended from a fixed end. So this is a fixed support by extremely light and rigid string. So these are the string. When the bob of the pendulum is given a gentle push to one side, it starts oscillating to and fro on other side of its mean position. So in this position, it is that the mean position of the simple pendulum, and these two positions are the extreme position. So the position of the bob at the maximum distance on other side from the mean position is called the extreme position. So when a pendulum swings to and fro, its energy constantly changes from potential energy to kinetic energy and vice versa. But the sum total of both the energies at any point always remains constant. So let us understand the energy conservation for a simple pendulum at different positions. So here I want to draw a diagram of a simple pendulum. So this is our rigid support, or you can say it is a fixed support, and this is the extremely light and rigid string, and it is the metal bob. So in this position I am giving the name, it is a and this position is the extreme position, and this position is also extreme position, means wherever you push the pedal bob, push it gently, then you start oscillating to and fro, means other side of the mean position. This is our the mean position of the simple pendulum. This is the extreme position. This is the extreme position. So I am giving the name. This is A, B and C. So when the bob is raised from position B to position A, work is done on it against the force of gravity, because force of gravity is acting this way, but we are gently we were pushed this way. So that's why that is the work is done on it against the force of gravity. So this work done against gets stored in it in the forms of gravitational potential energy. So at this position, so at the position A, the pendulum has only potential energy but no kinetic energy. So in this position, the potential energy mgh, it is maximum. But what about the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy equals to 0. Okay. So now when the bob starts moving from position A to position B, its potential energy goes on decreases, but its kinetic energy goes on increases. So when the bob reaches at mean position B, it has maximum kinetic energy but potential energy is 0. So in this position it has kinetic energy, it is maximum, and potential energy equals to 0. But at position C, as the bob goes from position A towards C, its kinetic energy goes on decreases but potential energy goes on increases. So increasing, kinetic energy goes on decreasing and potential energy goes on increasing. So on reaching an extreme position C, the bob has only potential energy but no kinetic energy. So whenever it is you see this, if you consider at this point, you can see the sum of potential energy. So what is the total energy? That is the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy. So if I ask you what is the total energy, so what the value it is? So when it goes down from A to B, then only the potential energy changes to kinetic energy and potential energy will be 0. So at any point you can see the sum of total energy is always constant. So what is actually signifies that law of conservation of energy is valid. So means that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It only transforms from one form to another form. Now see this another example. So you see here the another example of a roller coaster. So you see when that in roller coaster, the sum of total energy means sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy of the car at any point is always constant. So the total energy is always conserved. So we can say that the law of conservation of energy is valid in the roller coaster. So when the car are pushed using an electrical motor, the electrical energy is converted to kinetic energy. Hence, car near the beginning of the roller coaster have high kinetic energy but low potential energy. When the car reaches at the top of the ride, so in this position, kinetic energy is converted to potential energy, means kinetic energy has been converted to potential energy. So it has a maximum potential energy at the top of the ride. When the cars come down at the bottom of the ride, so in this position it has a maximum kinetic energy but minimum potential energy. So means the potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. So when that car is come down at the bottom of the ride, they gain speed and that potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. So it has a maximum kinetic energy. So due to the speed, cars climb up again at the next loop, and kinetic energy gets converted to potential energy. So each gain in height corresponding to loss of speed and hence loss of heat for the next loop. So when the car is going up or coming down, the potential and kinetic energy is readily changes from one form to another form. So we can say the energy of conservation, law of conservation of energy is valid. So now is that the energy conservation in a hydroelectric power plant. So a hydroelectric power plant also uses the transformation of potential energy to kinetic energy to generate electricity. The water is stored in a reservoir at a certain height above a dam, hence it possesses gravitational potential energy. When the water is released from this height, the potential energy of the water gets converted into kinetic energy. This kinetic energy of the falling water is then used to rotate the blades of the turbine connected to a generator. The generator converts the mechanical energy of the rotating blades into electrical energy. So how the energy conservation in a hydroelectric power plant? So now you can understand. So when the water stored in a dam, so that's at a certain height, that time it has only that potential energy. But when that water that time it possesses gravitational potential energy. So means water stored in a reservoir at a certain height above a dam, it possesses gravitational potential energy. But when the water released from the side, the potential energy of the water gets converted into kinetic energy, and the kinetic energy of the falling water is then converted used to rotate the blades of the turbine and connected to generator. So the generator converts that generator converts the mechanical energy of the rotating blades into electrical energy. So means how that potential energy means when the water is stored in a dam, so that time it has a potential energy. When the water is released from the dam, then potential energy is converted to kinetic energy, and the kinetic energy of the falling water is then used to rotate the blades of the turbine connected to a generator, so that the generator converts the mechanical energy to the rotating blades into electrical energy. So water in a dam is stored at a height, it has potential energy. When the water falls from a height at the ground level, so the potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. When falling water moves the turbine, the kinetic energy is converted to electrical energy. And when the electrical energy is used for different purposes, so electrical energy is also converted to heat, light and sound energy. So you see this, if you consider at any point, then you can find out the total energy is always constant, means the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy is always constant. So that's why we can say that a law of conservation of energy is valid over there, and by using this example we can understand how that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, it only transforms from one form to another form. Now is the second part of this things is that work energy relationship. So we know that energy is the ability or capability to do work. So when you do some work, so we need some energy. So without energy it is not possible to do any work. So whenever we do any work, we need some energy, and we get some energy from our food. For example, when an object is at a height from the ground, it has a certain amount of potential energy. But when you drop the object, it falls down because of the force of gravity. So the work is being done on the object while falling down. Its potential energy is gradually used up until it becomes zero. Just when so you see here, when an object is at a height from the ground, so each time it has a potential energy. But when you drop the object, it falls down because of the force of gravity, because force of gravity is acting downwards. So anything, whenever you fall on from some height, it always fall on the ground. So work is being done on the object while falling down. Its potential energy is gradually used up until it becomes zero. Just when the object touches the ground, so when the object touches the ground, that potential energy will be zero. At any point during its falling, the amount of potential energy which is used up by the object is equal to the distance to the distance the object has traveled, or means you can say it is a work done. So work done by a body equals to energy changed in the body. So now is the last part of this chapter is the what is power. So you have learned that work is the product of the force and the distance moved by the object in the direction of applied force. So power is defined as the rate at which work is done or energy is transferred per unit time. So what is the power? So you can say that it's a rate at which work is done, or you can say it is a energy is transferred per unit time. So power can denoted by capital P, work done is denoted by capital W, and time you can denote it by small t. So P equals to W divided by T. This implies that the power will be greater if the work is done in a smaller time. So if you do the work in a smaller time, then we can say the work will be greater. The work will be smaller if the work is done in a larger time. So units of power is as the power is the ratio of work and time. Its SI unit is joule per second, because you see here power equals to work done divided by time. So what is the SI unit of work done? That is joule. And what is the SI unit of time? That is second. So joule per second. This unit joule per second is simply written as watt or capital W. So hence the SI unit of power is watt. The power is said to be 1 watt when a work of 1 joule is done in 1 second. So when the joule of work is done in 1 second, then we can say that the power is 1 watt. So generally a bigger unit called kilowatt or kW is used. 1 kilowatt equals to 1000 watt. Energy and power are two different physical quantities. The differences between them are given below. So energy and power. So energy it is the capacity to do work, and power is the amount of energy transferred in unit time. And energy it does not depend on time, and power is depends on time. The SI unit of power energy is joule. The SI unit of power is watt. It can be converted from one form to another, and it cannot be transferred from one form to another form. And energy can be stored, but power cannot be stored. So this is the difference between energy and power. So hope student you understood. Please you read properly and how that energy is conserved. So that type of example is very important. So and also the fill in the blanks from this part is also important. Whenever you read each of the lines very clearly. And I want to say something. We know that the SI unit of power is watt, and the unit of power in the British system it is called actually horsepower, and it is denoted by HP. So 1 HP equal to 746 watt. So now you can understood that student what is power, what is the units of power, what is the difference between energy and power. So read properly students, and all types of numericals problem from this chapter you practice properly. And next day I will discuss that exercise question answer. Okay, then I will move to the next chapter. Okay, so thank you students, hope you understand. Bye, take care, have a good day.